Hello and welcome to this video, which is all about number sequences. Number sequences are sequences of numbers or a list of numbers that are linked by a rule. So today we're going to be looking at how you can work out the next step in a number sequence by finding the rule and continuing that rule or doing the previous step. So here's the learning objective. I can solve number sequences. Now our steps of success are going to be these today. I know that the list of numbers is linked by a rule. It's really important we come to this and we understand there is a rule behind that list of number. There is a way of working it out and finding the next one in the rule or solving the rule. Okay, so we need to keep that in mind. The next step is I can use my noticing learning power and my math skills to find the rule. So you need to do a little bit of investigation and problem solving to find this rule, but we'll talk about how we can do that. And then the final one is I can use the rule to find the next answer. So often you'll be asked to find the next step in the sequence or finish the sequence, and again we'll look at how to do that. So let's have a look at some number sequences and we'll begin to apply these 3 steps to hopefully solve them. Here we go. Here are some sequences, some lists of numbers that are linked by a rule. So the first thing is I need to work out, so here is, let's look at the first one. So it's 4, 8, 12 and 16. Now this should be quite an easy one. You might just see straight away that it is, these numbers are in the 4 times tables, and they are 4 times tables. That means their rule is that you add 4 each time. So I'm just adding 4 each time. And I could work that out by doing 8 take away 4 would equal 4, and that would give me the rule, but I can see it here. So each time it jumps by 4. Therefore, if I want to work out the next step in the sequence, I'll have to add 4 to 16. So 4 plus 16 would be 20. So there you go. I've used those 3 steps to find that. I came to this knowing there must be a rule. I used my noticing powers to learn the rule, and then I even checked it using some maths. I then did the next step in that rule and found it. Okay, let's look at the next one. It gets a little bit trickier. I've got 21, 28, 35 and 42. So I know there must be a rule. So I'm going to think about, are the jumps equally sized each time? So what is the jump? So I'm going to ask myself, what is the jump between 21 and 28? So if I was to do 28 to take away 21, I know I would get 7. Is the jump here the same, 28 to 35? And again, I know that would be 7, and I know that would be 7. So again, it must be going up each time by 7. So that's the second step. So I knew there was a rule. I've used my noticing learning skills to find the rule, and I've used my math skills to check it. So then I can finish it by finding the next step by just adding 7 on. So 42 plus 7 would be 49. So there I found that rule. Again, let's look at this rule. Here's a list of numbers. There must be a link. There must be a rule linking them. Okay, I'm starting to think. This ends in a 5, this ends in a 5, this ends in a 5, this ends in a 5. So what is the rule? Well, if I was just to do quickly 115, take away 105. Oh, I've got 10. Now, is the difference between here 10? Doing this very small, but I'm subtracting it to try and find it. Yes, it is 10 again. And I think this is 10 again. So the rule is that each time this is going up in 10, so it's adding 10 each time. So therefore, to get the end rule, the final step, I need to add 10 to 135, which would be 145. Now this one is a little bit different. I've kind of rubbed it out a little bit. It's asked me to find the first number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start up here, but I'm going to do it in the same way. So 163 to 149. I can see that the gap there would be 4. 162, 161, 160, 164. So that's 4. Let's try this one. I'm just going to count back. So 159, 100. Yep, that's all I've said. So I'll subtract 4, that's subtract 4. Then this seems to be subtract 4. So again, I know there's a rule, and I've now used my noticing and math skills to find that rule, and now I can finish it off by doing 154, take away 4 would be 147. I hope I've got that right. Guys, think about those success criteria. Here they are again. So if you see the list of numbers, there must be a rule. Use your maths noticing powers to find the rule, subtracting the two different numbers, checking that it is the same jump each time, and then finally you can finish that off by finding the next step, okay? There will be questions below. Make sure you do the answers. You're just going to be asked to look at a sequence and find the next step in it. Very similar to what I've done here, so have a go at that. Make sure you put your name in and you submit your answers. Cheers guys, bye.